and welcome to today's workout. For today we're going to be focusing on our shoulder mobility. If you're not sure what shoulder mobility is or the difference between flexibility and mobility, head over to our website www.bodymindfitness.co.za and check out our latest blog post. For today you're going to need a foam roller, a tennis ball, or I've got a lacrosse ball. I find it's a little firmer, but a tennis ball works just as well, and also some kind of strap. So I've got a resistance band. If you don't have a resistance band, you can also just use a normal strap. So why do we have mobility issues? So we often find that our posture is poor, we will slouch, we will hunch over our computers when we're driving, on our cell phones, or even just from sleeping funny. So these all are things that lead to us having that neck ache, that shoulder ache, arms, wrists. So how do we alleviate this? Often we just stretch and it seems to temporarily help, but in order to completely eradicate the problem, we have to use a three-part system, which is our foam rolling, it's our activation, and it is our stretching. So if you incorporate this into your daily routine 3 to 5 times a week, you can do it before or after your workout, or just in between, you're going to find huge results. So let's get started with our foam rolling. So to start off with, you're going to place your foam roller or your ball, tennis ball, onto a hard surface. So you can even do this at your desk at work, and you're going to place it underneath the forearm. Start to roll it up and down, side to side, until you find a tense spot. And when you find that tense spot, you can place the other arm on top and make small little circles. So often because we're holding our mouse all day or texting, typing, our extensors tend to overactivate. So this just helps to release them. So you might find like a really tight sore spot, you just hold it there, roll it out, and then move on. If something isn't stiff, then just keep going past it. Just find those stiff areas. And once you've got rid of all those little knots, you're going to turn over onto the, flip the arm over so you're on the front of the forearm. Same thing again. Find those tense areas, place the other arm over, and then once you find those areas, hold it. So you want to do 30 seconds to a minute per arm. If you find more things to work on, then you can stay a little bit longer. Once you've done your forearms, we're going to move into our upper traps. So placing the foam roller or tennis ball against the wall, you're going to place it just in between the shoulder blade, and again gently moving side to side, up and down, finding those really tight areas. You might even need to bring the arm across the chest so that you can really get in there. And when you find those areas, just making little small movements over those tight bits. And once it feels a little bit better, rolling over to the next spot. If you find that the ball keeps slipping up and down, you can always place it into a nice big sock and hold it in place. Once you've done the right side, you're going to move over to the left side, same again. So this one feels pretty good, and you can do this again at your office, taking a few minutes out from all that hard work in front of your desk. Once you've finished, so about a minute on each side, we're going to move into the chest. So because we spend so much time hunching, our pecs become really tight. So if you have a doorway, this works best against the doorway. You can place the ball into the chest, just between the shoulder and the boob, and place the arm just on the side of the door. I don't have a door, so you'll just have to picture that, or you can also just place it into the wall. And again, rolling, finding that tight area. And once you find that tight area, you can also take the arm up and down, just moving slowly. That's also going to help just release those knots or those trigger points. And again, once it's feeling like it's a little bit less tight, you can move on to the next spot. And we'll do again both sides. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with our tennis ball. Now we're going to move on to our long foam roller. So these you can pick up at most places. I really like the discount ones. They're pretty cheap. They work well. Don't get the ones with all knobbly bits. It's not that pleasant. So we're going to place it down onto our mat. And we're going to come onto our sides, placing the foam roller underneath our armpit, just in line with the bra, above the bra line. We're going to take the other hand, you can keep on the temple or just keep the hair out the way, and just slowly roll yourself backwards and forwards. So these are our lats. These get really tight. We might not realize, but you'll see when you foam roll, it's probably going to feel pretty good. So forwards and backwards a couple times, maybe up and down, find a tight spot, and then again those forwards and backwards movements. Making sure that we breathe throughout, so never holding our breath. And once you've done a minute on each side, we'll move over to our thoracic extension. So placing the foam roller into the middle of the back, you don't want it too low down. This one you do need your hair out the way, otherwise it can become trapped. We'll start with the hands down as we go up, extend the arms. Maybe I'll move down a little bit, the bench isn't in the way. Okay. So as I come up, extend, drop the head, and as I come back, lower the arms, tuck the chin. Opening up, and slowly back. And again, spending about a minute or so. You also, whilst you're down here, can take a moment to roll out the neck. That feels pretty good. So that is our foam rolling. Next we're going to move over to our activation. So for our activation, we'll start off with our resistance band. And we're going to place it underneath our foot. If you don't have a resistance band, you can also do this with dumbbells. So we're going to do a row, a standing row. So you want to make sure that you're not arching your back. So we're going to tuck the tailbone under, pull in the belly, and keeping the elbows in nice and close. Squeeze them together at the back. Roll the shoulders back and down, almost as if the shoulder blades are going to kiss at the back, and then slowly release. Together, squeeze, and release. So if you didn't have a fan and you've got dumbbells, you can do that too, or even just using a water bottle. It's really to get those rhomboids fired up, get those back muscles nice and strong, because they become weak from all our hunching over. Okay, so aiming for about 45 seconds to a minute of that. We're then going to move over to our wall for a scapular push-up. So you're going to stand and with the arm in line with the shoulder. So hopefully you can see my shoulder blade in this one. I'm going to check that my shoulder is not rising up to my ear. Then I roll it back and down, and it's a very small movement. I'm going to lean in towards the wall. My scapula is going to come in towards the spine, and then I'm going to press away. So it's in and out. Very small movement that you'll see. Do about 10 or so on each side, and you're going to feel it. Once you've finished your set, bring your back to the wall. Again, tilting the pelvis so that the back is flat. You can bend into the knees if you need to, and make sure that the belly is nice and tight. I'm going to bring the arms parallel to each other, keeping the hands nice and straight, and then we'll slowly open up, seeing if we can touch the backs of the hands to the wall. So try not to cheat and bend the wrists. Keep the arms straight, hold, and back. As you do this, focus on squeezing those shoulder blades together and back. So this is one that also, it looks really easy to start, but it gets pretty challenging pretty quickly. You might even feel it into the shoulders if they're really tight, and you're going to feel the rhomboid start to burn. Again, going for about 45 seconds to a minute of these. If you want to make it even harder, you're going to add a little snow angel. So at the top of the movement, coming up and then sliding down and together. So if that's too tough to start off with, maybe you need to build up to that, maybe your mobility is really limited, then just sticking to our wall W's and then maybe adding that snow angel. Okay, we're going to move over onto the mat. And now we're going to do some prone snow angels. So lying on your belly, head facing down, we're going to place our hands behind our head. And we're going to open up, rotate, and back. If you don't have any neck and shoulder neck issues, you can also lift the head slightly off the floor. This is going to help activate those upper shoulder muscles. So this is where we really want to be, but if this is too much to start off with, then you can have the head up. So rotating and back. Again, aiming for 45 seconds to a minute. So you can always start off 45 seconds, and as it gets easier, build up. And the last one we're going to do for activation is some down dog scapular pushes. So all we're doing is letting the shoulders drop back and then pushing ourselves away. So we're elevating and depressing the scapula. So making sure that the fingers are nice and gripping into the mat. Press yourself away and then slowly release. Again, a small movement, but it's going to have a big impact. If this one is a bit too tough for you, you can also do it from a plank position, just allowing the chest to drop through the arms and then pressing yourself away, almost doming into the shoulders. Sinking down, letting the shoulder blades touch, and pressing yourself back. And lastly, we're going to move into our stretching series. So taking our band again, we're going to do some flossing. We want to hold about shoulder distance apart, but this is really going to depend on your shoulder mobility. It's also going to depend on what you're using. So I've got a resistance band, which is got a bit of give, so it makes it a bit easier if you've got something like a towel or a strap. You might need to just vary your hand position a little bit. So taking the hand shoulder distance, we go up and over. So if you're getting here and you're having to do funny little things to try cheat your way over, just take the hands a little wider. So should be challenging, but easy enough that you can do it without having to try cheat your way. Okay, just checking our posture, that we've got our tailbone tucked under, belly's nice and tight. And again, 45 seconds to a minute of those ones. We're going to move on to some kneeling rotations. So coming into a lunge position, we'll start off taking the arm closest to the leg up, opening up through the chest, placing that hand back, and then we're going to go the other side. Now you can use the elbow of that hand to really press into the knee to open up. So this is just mobilizing through our thoracic spine, which also tends to get quite stuck. And again, we'll alternate just doing one side for 45 seconds to a minute, and then we'll move over to the other side. Okay, once you finish with those ones, we're going to come up to our bench. You can use a coffee table, anything, even a chair, couch is fine. It helps if it's got a bit of a padded surface, otherwise you can also just put a towel or pillow down. Placing the elbows down, you want to walk yourself far enough back that you're going to be able to let the chest come through the space here. So I like to interlock my fingers, the elbows are just in line with my shoulders, taking a deep breath in, and as I exhale, just allowing the chest to come through the arms. So if you find that you're feeling a little stuck, maybe just try to walk the legs out a little bit and try again. So you can either hold this as a static stretch, or you can make it a bit more dynamic. So inhaling to come up and then exhaling, seeing if you can maybe get a little deeper. So here we're really getting into those shoulders as well as those lats. And then our last one, I saved the best for last, it's our thread the needle pose. So you're coming onto all fours, keeping the knees underneath the hips, the hands underneath the shoulders. And we're going to take one hand, thread it through the gap created by the other, rotating to come onto the shoulder. And you can use this left hand to really help you get deeper into that twist, or to control how deep you get. Also option to take the left hand up and over, take hold of the opposite thigh, and then you're getting some rotation into the front of the shoulder as well. And again, holding 45 seconds to a minute, and then you're going to do the other side. So those are 15 quick little things to incorporate into your daily life. You don't have to do them all in one go. You can do, for instance, some of the activation before you do your workout, and then maybe some of the stretches at the end, or just in between when you take a little break from your desk. Is really going to make a big difference. Don't skip it out, and I hope you feel the benefits. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us. Have a wonderful day.